Welcome back, radio fans. Big Al here. It is Monday, July 27th, 2020, and our series of the AM and FM radio stations from across the country continues with a look at Charlotte, North Carolina, and nearby Hickory, North Carolina. Now, according to the Arbitron ratings, this is the 23rd largest radio market in the United States. So, before we get started, just a reminder, like what I'm doing, go ahead and leave a like, drop a comment in the comments section. And if you really like what I'm doing, feel free to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell and get notified every time I go live. Alright, that said, let's get down to business. The AM and FM radio stations across Charlotte and Hickory, North Carolina. Starting off on the AM side of the dial, 550 is Wame Statesville. Rail Country 92.9, Decades of Country Music. This station broadcasts a classic country format, and they are also home of NASCAR. They have races from both the Motor Racing Network and the Performance Racing Network. WAME is owned by Statesville Family Radio Corporation. Billy Belvins. They list Billy Belvins as the owner and Statesville Family Radio Corporation as the licensee of WAME. They operate Translator Station W225PD Statesville on 92.9. Sorry about that. On 610, broadcasting in high definition, is WFNZ Charlotte. 1025 and 610 WFNZ. This is the Charlotte affiliate of CBS Sports Radio and the radio flagship station of the Charlotte Hornets. WFNZ is owned by Intercom Communications and is repeated on WLNK 107.9 HD3 Charlotte and operates FM translator station W273DA Charlotte at 102.5 FM. 630 is WAIZ Hickory, North Carolina. This station is known simply as 63 Big Ways, hence their call sign WAIZ. This is an oldies formatted station owned by Newton Conover Communications Incorporated. 730 is WZGV Cramerton. 730 AM The Game. This is the Charlotte affiliate of ESPN Radio. They are owned by 2G Media Incorporated. 760 is WCIS AM Morganton, North Carolina. They're known as The Cross. This is a Southern Gospel station owned by WFM Incorporated. And this is a daytime only station, as it does broadcast on 760, a clear channel frequency, which is reserved for the dominant 50,000 watt Class A station WJR in Detroit. So, by FCC law, WCIS is required to sign off the air at sundown. On 800 is WKBC North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, AM 800 WKBC. This is a country music station owned by Wilkes Broadcasting Company. On 860 is WACB Taylorsville. They're known as B86 Radio, the station that listens to you. This is a variety station which is owned by Apple City Broadcasting Company Incorporated. Now that station mainly airs to Hickory and points north and west, I think, since it is licensed to Taylorsville. 870, which is aimed at the Charlotte area, is Wtcg Mount Holly. This is a news talk station with news updates from CBS News and programming from Citadel Media and Westwood One. They are owned by Bible Clarity, and this is also a daytime only station, so they are required to sign off the air at sundown on 8:70 a.m. However, Wtcg does operate an FM translator station in Charlotte on 92.3 W222CW, which allows their programming to air 24 hours a day. 900 is Wycv, Granite Falls, North Carolina. This station is known as Gospel 9. They play gospel music, owned by the Freedom Broadcasting Company. They operate FM translator station W233CR 94.5 FM, Granite Falls. 930 is WYFQ AM Charlotte, BBN Radio, where you find quality. This is, of course, the flagship station of the locally based Bible Broadcasting Network. They are a Christian talk and teaching format, which is owned by Bible Broadcasting Network Incorporated, again based in Charlotte, and is simulcast at WYFQ FM 93.5 in Wadesboro, and operates 3 translator stations across the Charlotte metropolitan area. W229CF 93.7 serves Charlotte. W220DL 91.9 serves Statesville. And W222CV 92.3 FM Rock Hill, South Carolina. Serves, of course, Rock Hill and the southern Charlotte suburbs in South Carolina. 960 is WCRU, Dallas, North Carolina. They're known as The Truth. This is a religious station with programming from the Salem Radio Network. They are owned by Truth Broadcasting Corporation, and they operate translator station W289BO 105.7 FM, Pineville. 980 is WULR, York, South Carolina. Praise 980. This is a Christian talk station owned by Iglesia Nueva Vida of High Point. That's High Point, North Carolina. So that puts it up in the Triad area. Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and High Point. 1010 is WSPC Albemarle, North Carolina. News Talk 107.3 and 1010. This is a news talk station with hourly news updates from both ABC News and CBS News, and programming from Premier Radio Networks. WSPC is owned by Stanley Communications, and they operate translator station W297CE in Albemarle on 107.3 FM. And I'm sorry if I got the name of that city wrong. 1030 is WNOW-AM, Mint Hill, North Carolina. This is a Charlotte suburb, I think on the east side of town. They're known as Activa, 1030. This is a regional Mexican station owned by TBLC Holdings, LLC. They broadcast on 1030 kilohertz, or at 1030 kilohertz, which is a clear channel frequency in the United States, dominated by Class A 50,000 watt station WBZ in Boston. As a result, WNOW-AM must sign off the air at sundown, but their programming airs 24 hours a day on translator station W256BP in Charlotte at 99.1. Um, 1060 is Wgnc Monroe, La Zeta, 107.5, 97.3. This is a Spanish music station owned by the Atlanta, Georgia-based Norson Group. Programming is simulcast on WGSP 1310 AM in Charlotte, and is repeated on translator station W247CV Monroe at 97.3 FM. 1080 is Wkgx, Lenoir, North Carolina. Classic Hits 1080 and 104.5 FM. This is a classic hits station owned by the Foothills Radio Group. 1080 is also a clear channel frequency in the United States, which is dominated by KRLD in Dallas, Texas, which is the main Class A 50,000 watt station on 1080. So as a result, Wkgx is a daytime only station required by FCC law to leave the air at sundown. They operate a pair of translator stations, both licensed to Lenoir, North Carolina. W283CE at 104.5 FM is the source of their FM branding. And then they have a second translator station at 99.5, which is W258CS. Again, both of these translator stations are licensed to Lenoir, North Carolina. 1110, broadcasting in high definition, is Wbt Charlotte. Now this is Wbt AM Charlotte. News 1110, 99.3 WBT. They have a pair of slogans. Their main slogan is Charlotte's News, Weather, and Traffic. And their secondary is Leading Charlotte's Conversation. WBT is a news talk station with news updates from ABC News, programming from Premier Radio Networks, and Westwood One. WBT is the flagship radio station of the Carolina Panthers, so you'll hear all their games on this station. They are also the Charlotte affiliate for the North Carolina Tar Heels. So you'll hear Tar Heels football and Tar Heels men's basketball on WBT. Notable programming heard on News 1110 99.3 include Rush Limbaugh, Dave Ramsey, Mark Levin, and Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, which airs during the overnight hours. WBT is owned by Intercom Communications and is simulcast on WBT FM 99.3 FM, Chester, South Carolina, and is repeated on sister station WLNK 107.9 FM, HD2, Charlotte. 1140 is Wrna, China Grove, North Carolina, the best and most Southern Gospel. They broadcast a Southern Gospel format with programming from Salem Radio Network. Wrna is owned by South Rowan Broadcasting Company, and they too is a daytime only station, as they are on a clear channel frequency of 1140 kilohertz, which is reserved by dominant Class A 50,000 watt station WRVA in Richmond, Virginia. And this is a true daytime only station since they have no FM translator stations or repeaters. 1150 is WAVO, Rock Hill, South Carolina. They broadcast a Christian radio format, which is owned by WHVN Incorporated. Now, when we get to WHVN, it won't be long. I got about 4 stations until we get there. 4 more stations after this until we get to WHVN. 5 more, in fact. But there's a story about WHVN that I'll be telling you about once we get down to 1240. WAVO operates translator station W268DM on 101.5 in Rock Hill, South Carolina. 1170 is WCXN, Claremont, North Carolina. This station is known, their station is branded as Potter 1170, that's PODER, Potter 1170. But their slogan is La Zeta 1170 AM. La Radio que Suena. WCXN operates a regional Mexican format which is owned by Byrack Broadcasting Incorporated. They are also a daytime only station, required to sign off the air at local sundown in accordance with their license with the Federal Communications Commission. 1190 is Wixe Monroe, the mighty 1190, the best local talk and country favorites. So this is a mix of country music and talk programming owned by Monroe Broadcasting. 1220 is Wdyt Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Wdyt 1220 AM, Radio Nueva Vida. This is a Spanish religious station owned by CRN Communications. 1230 is Wnnc, Newton, North Carolina. They broadcast an oldies format which is owned by Newton Conover Communications. Now 1240 has two stations listed. One station is in operation. The other was in operation but recently signed off the air for good earlier this year. The station on 1240 that's in operation is WWWC Wilkesboro. They're known as 1240 3WC. This is a Southern Gospel station owned by Foothills Media Incorporated, and they operate a pair of FM translator stations, W261CG 100.1 FM Wilkesboro and W278CZ 103.5 FM Elkin, North Carolina. Now the station that's no longer in operation, but when they did broadcast at high definition, is the aforementioned WHVN Charlotte. This station was known as Heaven Radio. They carried a religious radio format owned by WHVN Incorporated. So this was the flagship station of WHVN Incorporated. WHVN, as I said, is now defunct, as the station ceased operations back on March 31st of this year. WHVN had news updates on the hour from USA Radio News and was previously simulcast on WAVO 1150 AM Rock Hill, South Carolina, and on WCGC 1270 AM in Belmont. That's the station we'll be looking at next. And it was also repeated on WOLS 106.1 FM HD2 Waxhaw, North Carolina. Alright, the aforementioned 1270 is WCGC Belmont. Again, airs a Christian radio format owned by WHVN Incorporated, and 1270 does broadcast in high definition. On 1280 is WSAT Salisbury. Memories 1280. This is an oldies station with news and programming from ABC Radio. They're owned by 2B Productions, LLC, and operates translator station W277DD Salisbury on 103.3 FM. 1290 is WHKY Hickory. Whky Talk Radio. Talk radio for the Greater Hickory Metro. This is a news talk station with news updates from Fox News Radio and from the North Carolina News Network, which I assume is based out of Raleigh. And they also have sports programming from Fox Sports Radio. I think that airs at night and on weekends, which means the news talk format airs weekdays, mornings and afternoons, and then it's a sports talker the rest of the time. WHKY is owned and operated by Long Communications LLC. That's the company that also owns the local television station in Hickory, which is WHKY TV Channel 14. They also operate FM translator station W272DV in Hickory at 102.3 FM. 1310, broadcasting in high definition, is WGSP AM Charlotte. La Zeta 97.3 and 107.5, although they had 99.1 in their branding. This is a regional Mexican station owned by Norsan Broadcasting out of Atlanta, Georgia. Programming is simulcast on Wxnc 1060 AM in Monroe. We just talked about that station a few moments ago. And they operate translator station W298CF on 107.5 FM, licensed to Charlotte. 1340 is WRHI, Rock Hill, South Carolina. WRHI FM 100.1, York County's home for news, talk, and sports. This is a news, talk, and sports station with news updates from both ABC News and Fox News Radio, programming from Cumulus Radio, and sports programming from SB Nation Radio. WRHI is owned by OTS Media and is repeated over translator station W261CY Rock Hill on 100.1 FM. 1350 is WHIP Mooresville, North Carolina. WHIP 1350. Music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. This is an oldies station which is owned by Mooresville Media Incorporated, and they operate translator station W257EJ in Mooresville at 99.3. 1370 is WGIV Pineville, Streets 103.3 and 100.5, the number one station in the streets. This is a mainstream urban station, one of three in the Charlotte area. It is owned by Frank Neely and operated by Atlanta, Georgia-based Core Communications, which also owns and operates Streets 94.5 in Atlanta. There are a trio of FM translator stations. The main translator stations are W277CB 103.3 FM, licensed to Charlotte, and W283AY 100.5 FM, licensed to Pineville. There's also a third translator station, which is W263CY at 100.5, licensed to Conway, South Carolina. 1390 has a pair of stations. We'll start with the standalone station first, which is WJRM Troy, North Carolina. They broadcast gospel music and is owned by Family Worship Ministries Incorporated. Meanwhile, the second station on 1390 is actually a dual frequency station. Their programming is also repeated on 1050. 1390 is WOHS Shelby, North Carolina. 1050 is WLON Lincolnton, North Carolina. These two stations are known as The Boss. Beach, oldies, and sports. So this is a mix of oldies and beach music. And they are affiliates for the Atlanta Braves, the Clemson Tigers, the Duke Blue Devils, the North Carolina Tar Heels, the Charlotte Hornets, the Carolina Panthers, the ACC tournament, and the NCAA tournament. So there is a bunch of sports on these stations. Both WOHS and WLON are owned by KTC Broadcasting Incorporated, and each station operates a translator station. W268CU located in Shelby at 101.5 FM relays WOHS, while W298CK in Lincolnton on 107.5 relays WLON. 1400 is WSIC Statesboro, or rather Statesville. News Talk 105.9 100.7. This is a news talk station from Iredell Broadcasting Incorporated. WSIC operates a pair of FM translator stations. The first is W264CU Statesville at 100.7. The other is W290DK Morrisville on 105.9 FM. 1410 is WEGO AM Concord, Memories 98.3. This is an oldies radio station owned by 2B Productions and is simulcast on WSAT 1280 AM, which of course is known as Memories 1280. They operate FM translator station W252DI Concord at 98.3 FM. All right, 1430 has two stations. The first station is aimed at the immediate Charlotte area, and that's Wdex Monroe, your 24-hour gospel connection. This is a gospel music station which is owned by New Life Community Temple of Faith Incorporated. And then the other station on 1430 is aimed at or near the Hickory area, and that's Wmnc Morganton. Classic Hit Country. They broadcast a classic country format with news updates from CNN and programming from the Jones Radio Network. Wmnc is owned by the Cooper Broadcasting Company. 1450 is Wgnc Gastonia, News, Talk, and Sports. So their format is the same as their slogan, News, Talk, and Sports. Wgnc is an affiliate of both the Atlanta Braves Radio Network, which is the largest radio network in Major League Baseball, and they're also an affiliate for Washington's NFL team. Can't say Redskins no more because they're not known as the Redskins now. Wgnc is owned by Scott Neisler, and they operate translator station W266DC Gastonia on 101.1 FM. 1460 is WRKB Kannapolis, Best and Most Southern Gospel. This is a Southern Gospel station with programming from the Salem Radio Network, which is owned by Ford Broadcasting. Now, this is pretty much the same branding and format that is on 1140 WRNA, but this station broadcasts 24 hours a day. 1480 is WGFY Charlotte, Faith 1480. This is a Christian radio station with programming from Life Talk Radio, and they are owned by the Charlotte Advent Media Corporation. All right, we are wrapping up the AM portion of the dial. We just got a few more stations left. 1490 has 3 different stations on this frequency. Aiming or airing to the southern Charlotte suburbs in the South Carolina is WGCD Chester, part of the Rejoice Network, which plays gospel music. They're owned by Wisdom LLC and operates translator station W283CY Chester on 104.5. The second station is named at the immediate Charlotte area, and that's Wstp Salisbury. which broadcasts an oldies radio format owned by 2B Productions LLC. And according to radiolocator.com, or rather radiostationworld.com, according to them, their programming is simulcast on both WSAT 1280 AM Salisbury and WEGO 1410 AM Concord. And then the other station is WSVM, Baldier, North Carolina. I take that back. It's Valdesi, North Carolina. Anyway, they're known simply by their slogan, the best mix on the dial. They are an adult hits radio station, which is owned by Main Street Broadcasting. They operate Translator Station W243DV, Valdesi at 96.5. 1540 and 1420 both air the same programming pretty much. 1540 is WOGR AM Charlotte. 1420 is WGAS South Gastonia, North Carolina. There is no branding for WOGR, but there is a branding for WGAS, which is WordNet 1420. WOGR operates a gospel format with programming from Salem Communications, while WGAS operates a religious format. Both stations are owned by Victory Christian Center Incorporated. Programming on WOGR AM is simulcast on WOGR FM 93.3 Salisbury. And WOGR also operates Translator Station W202BW Harrisburg, North Carolina on 88.3 FM. WOGR AM is a daytime only station, so the 1540 frequency is required to sign off at sundown by FCC rules and regulations. 1570 is WTC. 1570 is WTLK, Taylorsville, your gospel station. WTLK broadcasts a Southern Gospel format, which is owned by Apple City Broadcasting. 1580 is WZKY, Albemarle, North Carolina. Magic 103.3 FM, good times and great oldies. Of course, they are an oldies radio station with programming from ABC Radio. They are owned by Stanley Communications, and they operate FM Translator Station W277DK Albemarle at 103.3 FM. 1590 is WCSL, Cherryville, North Carolina. Carolina Country. This is a country music station owned by KTC Broadcasting Incorporated, with Translator Station W222CO, Cherryville, located at 92.3 FM. And rounding out the AM portion of the Charlotte Hickory market is WBCN Charlotte on 1660 AM and broadcasting in high definition. They're known as Fox Sports Radio Charlotte. Hence, this is the Charlotte affiliate of Fox Sports Radio. WBCN is owned by the Beasley Broadcast Group and is repeated on sister station WSOC FM 103.7 HD3 in Charlotte. And I think they said it is also recorded or repeated on another sister station, WKQC 104.7 HD3, which is also licensed to Charlotte. They also operate Translator Station W234BY Charlotte on 94.7 FM. All right. time to speed things up as we go to the FM side of the dial, because that took me about 35 minutes to read off all those AM stations. There were about 50 of them. But anyway, off we go to the FM dial, starting with the non-commercial band. 88.1 channel 201 is WJYJ Hickory. This is part of the Joy FM network, which plays a Southern Gospel format. They're owned by Positive Alternative Radio Incorporated. 88.3 channel 202 is WLXK Bowling Springs, North Carolina. This is part of the K-Love Radio Network. Positive, encouraging K-Love. They air a contemporary Christian format which is owned by the Educational Media Foundation, or EMF. 88.9 channel 205 is WNSC FM Rock Hill, South Carolina. 88.9 WNSC, which is part of South Carolina Public Radio. They broadcast a news talk format with news and programming from NPR and additional programming from South Carolina Public Radio. WNSC FM is owned by the South Carolina Educational Television Commission. Of course, they are also the owners of every PBS member station licensed in South Carolina, including WNSC TV Channel 30, which just so happens to be one of 3 PBS stations in the Charlotte metro area. 89.1 channel 206 is WRYN Hickory. They're a part of American Family Radio. In fact, they air the AFR Talk Network, which is Christian Talk. And this station is owned by AFR's parent company, American Family Association. 89.9 channel 210, broadcasting in high definition, is WDAV Davidson, Classical Public Radio. On the main FM analog signal and on HD1 is, of course, classical music with news and programming from National Public Radio, and they have no additional subchannels. WDAV, of course, is owned by Davidson College and licensed to the Board of Trustees at Davidson College. 90.3 channel 212 is WRBK, Richburg, South Carolina. Classic Oldies 90.3 FM. They broadcast an oldies format which is owned by Richburg Educational Broadcasters. Their programming is simulcast on WNBK 90.9 FM, Whitmire, South Carolina, and WEBK 91.1 FM, Society Hill, South Carolina. WRBK also operates Translator Station W221EO, York, South Carolina, on 92.1 FM. 90.7 and 90.3 operates the same programming. 90.7 channel 214 is WFAE Charlotte. 90.3 channel 212 is WFHE Hickory. Both stations broadcast in high definition, and both are known as 90.7 WFAE, Charlotte's NPR news source. FM analog and on HD1 on both stations is the news talk format with news updates from NPR. The HD2 sub-channel on both stations is the Charlotte Jazz Channel, which plays jazz music 24 hours a day with news updates from NPR. And then on HD3 is something called PRX Remix, or Public Radio Exchange Remix. Now, this is a repeat of public radio programming that you normally hear on WFAE and WHAE. Alright. Both stations are owned by the University Radio Foundation Incorporated and are licensed to the Board of Trustees of the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. They operate 2 FM translator stations, W229BD at 93.7 FM, Southern Pines, and W291BM 106.1 FM, Laurinburg, North Carolina. 90.9 Channel 215 is WSIF, Wilkesboro. They broadcast an album adult alternative format, which is owned by Isothermal Community College. In fact, this is actually a satellite station of WNCW 88.7 FM, which is located in Spindale, North Carolina, which is also where Isothermal Community College is located. Their programming is also repeated on Translator Stations W225AA 92.9 Boone, North Carolina, W247AB 97.3 FM Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina, W267BZ 101.3 FM Charlotte, and W271CB 102.1 FM Asheville, North Carolina. 91.5 Channel 218 is Wrfj, Fort Mills, South Carolina. This is part of the His Radio Network, which is contemporary Christian music plus praise and worship music. WRFJ is owned by the Radio Training Network. 91.7 Channel 219 is WSGE, Dallas, North Carolina. WSGE 91.7, your independent music source. They broadcast an album adult alternative format with programming from National Public Radio. They are owned, operated, and licensed to Gaston College. 91.9 Channel 220 is WRCM Wingate. This is the Charlotte affiliate of the K-Love Radio Network. Positive, encouraging K-Love. Broadcasting a contemporary Christian format from EMF. Alright, so that's the traditional non-commercial band. I'm going to drink on my coffee and then we'll get to the commercial band. Okay, off we go to the commercial band. Starting with 92.1 Channel 221, which is Wmnc FM, Morganton, North Carolina. This station is known as Big Dog. That's DAWG. Big Dog, 92.1 FM. This is a country music station owned by Corporate Broadcasting. 92.7 Channel 224. Broadcasting in high definition is Wqnc Harrisburg. They're known as 92.7 The Block, non-stop hip-hop and R&B. On the main FM analog signal and on HD1 is Mainstream Urban, and they have no additional subchannels. Wqnc is the first of 3 Urban One owned radio stations in the Charlotte metro area. 93.3 Channel 227 is WOGR FM Salisbury. WordNet 93.3. Broadcasting a gospel music format with programming from Salem Communications. They're owned by Victory Christian Center Incorporated. 95.1 Channel 236. Broadcasting in high definition is WNKS Charlotte. KISS 95.1, Charlotte's #1 hit music station. FM analog and on HD1 is Top 40 CHR. And then on HD2 is Radio Disney, which is also a Top 40 CHR aimed at teenagers primarily. WNKS is owned by Beasley Broadcast Group. 95.7, Channel 239 is WXNC Hickory. 95.7 The Ride. No silly morning show, no stupid contests, no hype. Just the greatest hits. Just the greatest music ever made. Solid slogan for this station. They broadcast a classic hits format which is owned by Pacific Broadcast Group. 96.1 Channel 241, broadcasting in high definition is Whqc Shelby. Hits 96.1, all the hits. FM and HD1 is Top 40 CHR, so this makes them a competitor to KISS 95.1. Then HD2 is Air 1, which is the contemporary worship music station from EMF. Whqc is owned by iHeartMedia. 96.9 Channel 245, also owned by iHeartMedia. And also broadcasting in high definition is WKKT-FM Statesville. 96.9 The Cat. #1 for New Country. FM and HD1 is Country. And then HD2 is Kids Club Radio, which is a children's radio station. And as I said, WKKT is owned by iHeartMedia. 97.3, Channel 247 is WKBC-FM North Wilkesboro. 97.3 WKBC, the 80s, 90s, and now is one slogan, and their second slogan is Your Music, Your Station, 97.3 FM. This is a hot adult contemporary station with programming from AP Radio and Dow Global. And I'm assuming they have news updates from AP Radio News. And this is also the flagship station of the Appalachian State Mountaineers. So all their football games and their men's basketball games are part of the Appalachian IMG Sports Network. Is heard on WKBC FM, which is owned by Wilkes Broadcasting Company. 97.9 Channel 250, broadcasting in high definition, is WPEG Concord. Power 98, Charlotte's #1 for hip-hop and R&B. On the main FM analog signal and on HD1 is Mainstream Urban, and there are no additional subchannels. WPEG is owned by Beasley Broadcast Group. 99.3 Channel 257 is WBT-FM Chester, South Carolina. News 1110 99.3 WBT, Charlotte's news, weather, and traffic. Their other slogan, leading Charlotte's conversation. Now this, of course, is the FM simulcast of WBT 1110 AM. And it's also repeated on WLNK 107.9 HD2 in Charlotte. So this is a news talk station with news updates from ABC News, Premier Radio Networks, and Westwood One supplying other programming. They are the flagship station of the Carolina Panthers and the Charlotte affiliate of the North Carolina Tar Heels. Notable programming heard on WBT AM and FM include Rush Limbaugh, Dave Ramsey, Mark Levin, and Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. WBT FM is owned by Intercom, and this station, along with CBS television station WBTV Channel 3, used to be owned by the same company, but of course, both the television and radio stations were sold off to different companies. So now WBT, AM, and FM are both owned by Intercom, while WBTV Channel 3, the CBS station in Charlotte, is currently owned by Gray Television. 99.7 Channel 259, broadcasting in high definition, is WRFX Kannapolis. 99.7 The Fox, Charlotte's Classic Rock. FM and on HD1 is Classic Rock. And then on HD2 is the all-new Black Information Network, which is the Black-oriented all-news network. And their HD2 signal is relayed over translator W254AZ 98.7 FM, which is licensed to another Charlotte suburb, Belmont, North Carolina. WRFX is owned by iHeartMedia. 100.7 Channel 264 is WZJS Banner Elk. Classic Hits 100.7. This is a classic hits radio station owned by Raleigh, North Carolina-based Curtis Media Group. 100.9 Channel 265, broadcasting in high definition, is WPZS Indian Trail. Praise 100.9, Charlotte's Inspiration Station. WPZS also broadcasts in high definition, so that means on the main FM and analog signal, as well as on HD1, is the urban gospel format, and there are no additional subchannels. And this is the second of the Urban One stations in the Charlotte metro area. 101.9 Channel 270, broadcasting in high definition, is WBAV FM Gastonia. B101.9, your favorite throwbacks and today's R&B. So FM analog and on HD1 is Urban Adult Contemporary, and again, no additional subchannels. WBAV FM is owned by Beasley Broadcast Group. 102.3 Channel 272 is WGSP FM, Pageland, South Carolina. Latina 102.3, Du Musica. They play a mix of tropical and Latin pop music and is owned by Northside Broadcasting of Atlanta, Georgia. 102.9 Channel 275, broadcasting in high definition, is WLKO Hickory. 102.9 The Lake, We Play Anything. So this is kind of like a Jack FM type station. FM analog and HD1 is adult hits. On HD2 is Pride Radio, which is dance and EDM. And then on HD3 is Today's Mix, which is a hot AC format. WLKO is owned by iHeartMedia. Alright, now we're on to the last page. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 9 stations left. Alright. 103.3 Channel 277 is Wkvs Lenoir, North Carolina. This station is known as Kicks 103.3, which airs a country music format owned by the Foothills Radio Group. 103.7 Channel 279, broadcasting in high definition, is one of the Queen City's top performing stations, WSOC FM Charlotte. Country 103.7, Carolina's New Country. On FM analog and HD1 is country music. And then on HD2 is Southern Rock. I'm assuming this is the station that used to air on 1660 AM as 94.7 Smoke, because they had a Southern Rock format on that station. And then on HD3 is the format that's currently airing on 1660 AM, and that's sports. And that's your simulcast of WBCN Fox Sports Charlotte. Wsoc Fm, which got its call sign from Charlotte's ABC television station WSOC TV Channel 9, is owned by Beasley Broadcast Group. 104.7 Channel 284, broadcasting in high definition, is WKQC Charlotte. K104.7, more music, better variety. On FM and on HD1 is adult contemporary. And I didn't write this down because I'm not sure if this station flips the Christmas music during the holidays like most adult contemporary stations do. So I just left that off. HD2 is 70s hits, and then on HD3 is also the sports simulcast of WBCN 1660 Fox Sports Radio Charlotte. WKQC is also owned by the Beasley Broadcast Group. And then 105.3 Channel 287, broadcasting in high definition, is WOSF Gaffney, South Carolina. 105.3 R&B, old school and R&B. FM analog and HD1 is urban adult contemporary, so this makes them a competitor with Beasley Broadcast Group's V101.9. And then on HD2 is a contemporary Christian station known as His Radio, which is relayed over a pair of translator stations in the Charlotte area. They're relayed over W243 BY 96.5 FM Charlotte and W252 BU 98.3 FM Dallas, North Carolina. And this is where you tune in for the Ricky Smiley morning shows, right here on 105.3 R&B, which is owned by Urban One, and this is the last of the 3 Charlotte area stations owned by Urban One. 106.1 Channel 291 is WOLS, Waxhaw, North Carolina. La Raza, 106.1. La Estación de la Raza. This is a regional Mexican format owned by GHB of Waxhaw Incorporated, and they are also the Spanish flagship station of the Carolina Panthers. So, Panthers Spanish language broadcasts are heard on La Raza, 106.1. 106.5 Channel 293, broadcasting in high definition, is WEND Salisbury. They're known as 106.5 The End, Charlotte's alternative rock. On FM analog and HD1 is alternative rock. HD2 is a mainstream rock station known as iHeartRadio's Rock Nation Top 20. And then on HD3 is a religious format. WEND is owned by iHeartMedia. 107.1 and 107.3, channels 296 and 297 air the same programming and both broadcast in high definition. 107.1 channel 296 is WRHM Lancaster, South Carolina. And then 107.3 channel 297 is WVSZ Chesterfield, South Carolina. Together, these two stations are known as Interstate 107, Carolina's best country. On FM analog and on HD1 on both stations is the country music format. And then on WRHM HD2 is a contemporary Christian station known as The Bridge. Interstate 107 has news and programming from ABC Radio. And both stations are owned by R3 Sons Broadcasting LLP. And wrapping things up, we have 107.9 channel 300, also broadcasting in high definition. And that's Wmnc Charlotte. 107.9 The Link, Charlotte's Best Mix. On FM analog and on HD1 is Hot Adult Contemporary. And then their two additional HD subchannels are simulcasts of their AM sister stations. HD2 is the News Talk simulcast of News 1110 WBT. And then HD3 is the Sports simulcast of 610 WFNZ. WLNK is owned by Intercom Communications. And so there is the Charlotte and Hickory, North Carolina radio market in the books now. And I got the Portland, Oregon radio market coming up later this week, so be on the lookout for that. And then after that, we tackle the New York City market. The largest radio market in the country. We will get on that after we finish Portland, Oregon. That's going to be coming up on my next video. So again, if you like what you've heard here today, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, get notified every time I go live. So until I talk to you again, this is Big Al. Peace out. Have a great night.